So in the world of producing, in the world of arranging, I have been privileged to learn about 5 or 6 different ways of producing, of arranging. Being in the genre that I'm in, it's very, so we, those of you who don't know, people are looking for sheet music for our stuff all the time. We don't have sheet music. Yeah. We don't record with sheet music in the studio. The quartet music. We don't record with sheet music. That's not how we do it. The producer hears it by ear, gives us our parts, we work it out, we sing it, ta-da.
The rhythm guys pick up.
Rhythm guys. The band doesn't use sheet music.
They take a 3x5 card and just mark what you're singing.
They use numbers. Yes. The number chart. They go by number chart. For those who don't know what that is, for you students out there of music, that's just simple theory. That's all it is. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what that is.
Like in the key of C, a 1 is a C chord. But if you say, you know what, it feels a little low, let's do it in D. Well, now the 1 is a D.
That's right.
And so you just transpose by looking at that.
You don't have to transpose an entire work.
Yeah,
right.
You just look at the number.
Right, just look at the number, and it's all the same because every scale is built the same.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, another way I've seen of producing is a friend of mine who produces contemporary music and pop Christian.
Yeah.
Most of the demos during a writing session are done when those demos are recorded. It's pretty much the cut.
Yeah. It's
the cut.
Yeah.
And they do all programming.
Yeah.
It's very, very little actual acoustic playing at all. If they hear some that needs to be contracted out, they'll call somebody, right? And yours is different. You write everything, orchestra, what the band is going to do.
40 lines of stuff.
40 lines, which I love reading and analyzing. And it was so fun for me to get to do this. But these arrangements are so well thought out. Man, from the majestic melody with Great is Our Lord, Great is the Lord in there. Brilliant marrying of those two. My tribute and How Great is Our God. Brilliant moving thought process there. We can talk about this a million times. How does that work for you? When do you know? But I know even as an arranger on what I do, it just comes, you write it, you work it out, and it's done. And you go, okay, here we go. This is something great to work with.
If you came to me and said, I want these 3 songs in a medley, I would do my best to do that. I like it sometimes when you say, I want to do a big medley, very hymn-like. I do want Crown Him with Many Crowns in it. Take it from there. Then I get kind of the end of Crown Him with Many Crowns, and all of a sudden I'm feeling like Majesty complements Crown Him with Many Crowns. And then this one complements that, and what complements them all at the end is the end of the Hallelujah chorus.
Yes.
You know, and so you start to weave it all together and make,
It's just a brilliant way of taking those songs and marrying them together. The arrangements on this, y'all, the arrangements blew my mind. Blew my mind, especially All Hail the Power, that whole medley, and especially when we got to Crown Him Many Crowns. Matter of fact, I think I told you when we got to the studio.
I really went into John Williams' world where the chords kind of revert.
And you reckon?
But it's a killer.
Listen.
It's a killer.
Went to the studio. We got there. In the morning, and the first words out of my mouth was, "I'm going to kill you, David T. Clyde." Then he said, "Why? What did I do?" I said, "Crown Him Many Crowns." Oh, that's John Williams. I said, "Oh, it's just John Williams." That's all. Just John Williams. The topography, and that's the word for the whole thing. Yeah. I think you came in at one point on another song in the studio, and you said it's you didn't use the word topography. You said it's anyways, it's the terrain. It's where you're playing, how your hands are making the Crown Him Many Crowns. My wife was sick and tired. She had to have been sick and tired. I went over that passage. I probably spent 5 to 6 hours a day especially right up to the studio.
But you know that with the orchestra, every instrument has one note. They don't have to worry about
That's
you.
right.
You've got like 8 to remember.
That's right.
And I love when an artist says something to me like, "This is really hard," and I love to say back, "And that's your problem."
That's right. That's right.
That's your problem.
Well, and
what was your wife's phrase? She had a phrase.
Oh, she said, "No one cares. Work harder." No one cares.
Work harder.
She's a hockey coach.
I loved it.
No one cares. Work harder.
Loved it.
She came into the studio, and I was having trouble in one spot. And David gets on my headphones. Goes, "Your wife's here." She said, "No one cares. Work harder." I said, "Oh yeah, she's here. She's here."
Oh, I have artists I work with that are going to break down and get emotional. And then you don't play those kind of games.
Sure.
But I knew you were up for fun. And,
I was up to the challenge.
Yeah,
and they'll be the first to tell you, I love a good challenge.
Yeah.
I'm going to be bound and determined
to get
it.
Yeah.
And but that crown had many crowns, man.
That's
it was brilliant, and it was so much fun. And it's still I finally got the pattern. It's a pattern thing. You know, it's a pattern thing.
I've said to choir directors one time, I really need John Williams to do another movie because I don't know how to end my Easter musical yet. I'm looking for the ending, and I need somebody to help me get some ideas.
Lo and behold, there it is.
Then it just shows up.
Speaking of the choir on this album is also very brilliant.
You know what?
Tastefully done.
There's an issue with piano, and I had an artist that was a pianist.
Oh, we've not talked about it. I'm curious to hear this.
That he wanted choir all the time. I said, okay, you got to understand, if they're singing words, you're second. You can't be be out front because if they have words, that's why you do oohs and ahs, or I find a repeat thing or something like that. Yeah. But if they're going to sing a whole song, you got to be behind them because people want to hear the words. So you have to just watch that.
That's
a lot on.
Well, they did a fabulous job. I was sitting behind the console, and David said, because you get out there with the choir
I like to be
in the room. Yeah, he likes to be with them. And he looks at me and he goes, "You produce behind with Melissa McMahon, who's a fabulous engineer, fabulous mixer, unbelievable. He said, "You sit and you produce," and I went, "Okay, okay, I'll produce." So I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm talking to Melissa and I'm like, I told Melissa at one point, I said, "Not exactly sure what kind of feedback he's wanting from me because it sounds fantastic as it is." There were a couple times though you said, how's that sound? And we had to make a decision, I think, on a word or two.
You usually don't get an engineer who has a master's degree from Berkeley in music.
But that's true.
And that's what she is.
And that's what she is.
And she changed over to being a sound person. So she doesn't have the score upside down. I've walked in the booth and seen the score upside down going, this is not going to be a good day.
And what I found impressive about Melissa, this is kind of an aside, and then you fast forward this, but I think it's interesting. She had everything already lined up, measured out, queued up.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was there. There was no questions. When you said, let's go to measure 4, let's go to measure 200, she was there.
I'm doing a big choir album in Memphis in a couple weeks, and it's like they told me the studio's good, the engineer's good. I said, "That's nice. Melissa's coming with us," because I've gone to other places.
What you told me, yeah.
And if it's not L.A. or Music City or something, I mean,
it's different.
I did one album for a church choir, and we had professional singers in there, and it started at 3, and the first time I heard it sound was 6 o'clock. That's how long it took the engineer.
Yeah.
Melissa, every headphone's been checked out at 2:30.
Everything was ready.
Everybody's working,
ready
so nobody has. And the thing that's nice in Prague is what we do with studios in Nashville and all that kind of stuff. They tear down and whatever the session is the next day. Yes. Well, in Prague, they record that orchestra every single day for movies, films, television. So it's all set up. So when you run 8 bars, he goes, "I'm ready." Because he does it every day. They're already set up for it.
And speak of Prague and speak of that orchestra. I mean, I know you've worked with the City of Prague Philharmonic for years at Smeky Studios, Smeky Music Studios, and they know you know them, but their sound is absolutely
very majestic,
very majestic, very nice, and the work that they do. I know when you go over, generally you've booked a 2-3 day. Sessions.
Sessions are 4 hours, so that's 8 hours. In 8 hours, you have to get the 10 songs. And then the next clients get the next day.
Right.
And the third client gets the third day. So, I mean, there's no messing around.
So there's basically 40 to 45 songs, something like that, or more.
Well, one time when COVID hit, I was writing albums, but we couldn't go, and we took 7 albums over there, and we had the orchestra 7 days. By day 7,
they were bleeding.
I had an assistant conductor. I go, you go do the next 2. No, you go do the. No, you go do the next. We were all just so wiped out. Nobody wanted to do it. We're like, can we end this project? And it's just, but that's the way it was after COVID.
Well, I gotta say, with this project, Grand. And with some other projects that you have also produced, you did the Heath Brothers Not So Silent Night. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing project. But there's something special. There are certain orchestras in the world. You got the Vienna. You got the London Philharmonic. You know, Gerald Wolfe, Great Vision. They just did their Christmas project there. It was beautiful.
Abbey Road Studio and all that.
Abbey Road Studio, wonderful. That's so amazing. But the City of Prague Philharmonic, outside of it being, gotta be honest, one of the reasons why is because they are friendly on the resources side.
Yes.
They are very friendly on the resources side.
If the dollar euro is your friend, it can go very well.
That's right.
Some days it is, some days it's not.
That's right.
You know?
But even more than that, man, they are known for doing such amazing work in, like you said, movies.
Yeah.
Before
you go into the studio, there is probably 500 albums on the wall of movie scores and television, and that's just intimidating already. Well, you see Ben-Hur's and things like that up there. You know, in that room.
In that room,
you guys did that.
In that room.
I mean, people were with me on the last trip. Were just flashing pictures of the album, saying, "This is the room where it happened." You know, so it's kind of
amazing.
You know.
Oh, I would have loved to have been there.
Oh,
yeah.
You would have loved it because it's a beautiful city. And, you know, I do have a translator with me, which is interesting because I don't have any problem speaking English in restaurants and to people and they all get it, you know.
But the orchestra,
I will say something and she will translate it. But one time I turned around, we happened to be doing all that jazz from Chicago. And it started with the trumpet solo, and it was supposed to be a wah-wah trumpet thing. And I just leaned over to Stanya, and I said it very quietly, but you forget everybody can hear everything. Mm-hmm. So I said to Stanya, could he play that a little sexier? And I hear from the back of the room, you want 60? I give you 60! And we punched in. I mean, it was like, I don't know if that story's going to get on anything, but they hear and they
That's a great story. You know? That's a great story.
We just all.
Well, I would assume speech, music speech is different than I would like this to eat. I would like that to eat. Where can I find this? Where is the bathroom?
Well,
referring to concepts that you're looking for. I would assume.
I had to learn something for Prague, which was I write for choirs and things, and I'll say with passion and majesty and things like that. You know, words that they will understand. Yes. Well, anytime I write something like that, it has to be translated.
Right.
So I noticed with Brian Eads was with me when we were doing a Les Mis thing. He did 5 and I did 5. Well, he used all the Italian music words. Con molto dolce. Well, they all got that because that's what music is.
That's how you're taught.
He never had to have anything translated.
That makes sense.
So I started I always put mutes on. No, con sordini.
Yeah.
If you write con sordini,
they know what you're talking about.
Then we don't have to stop and say, oh, that's supposed to be mutes there. You know, so I've stopped using English and I've been trying to go to the Italian word for it and stuff like that.
Fast. Allegro. Yeah. Loud. Fortissimo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They get all that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, there's things like Prague, we get it. Like if it's, let's say it's a style that's more of a swing style or something like that. That's not something that symphony plays.
Sure.
So you really
have to communicate.
You got to really communicate how this is. I've even sung a few bards. You know, or you write so that the strings really aren't swinging; they're playing half notes, and the brass who know how to do that because they've played in dance bands.
Sure.
So they know how to do that.
Sure.
Where the strings haven't. They don't. So you try to write for the right section.
Man.
I mean, because you're soon and very soon. We're talking about the Majesty of the Orchestra, but they handled Blessed Assurance and they handled Soon and Very Soon.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That you wouldn't think it was the same orchestra because they got those things. You know?
True. Even the choir on that on those songs were even approached differently than
the Nashville singers. You give them a word, as gospel-y as you can do it. You got it. And all of a sudden, a whole different group. Then you're doing Phantom of the Opera, and you say, kind of opera. Okay. And they turn it on.
And they turn it on. It's amazing.
It's just kind of amazing how they do it.
It's so amazing. This album is so amazing. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Oh, this was
whether you think it or not, you allowed me to be a part of this, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, you have a big part in it.
So, thank you for that. Called Grand, released January 26th. If you didn't hear about it yet, you need you need to sign up for the email newsletter at tributequartet.com. Tributequartet.com. Sign up for the text messaging. Text the word join to 615-398-4324. You can find all that information. I know it's a lot for you to remember. Subscribe to this channel. Learn everything there is to learn about what I do at tributequartet.com. You can find more of my music at joshsingletary.com. Go get grand.
Get grand.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you saw and like to see some more, be sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell. That way you'll know when more videos will be posted. You can learn more about my music at joshsingletary.com. You can learn about what it is that I do at tributequartet.com. We'll see you later.